Hello, and welcome to Picture This, a podcast from the photo archives of the Albuquerque Museum. My name is Jill Hartke, and I am the Digital Archivist here at the museum. Today, we will be looking at a street photography project commissioned by the Albuquerque Museum in 1969 to document the city during a time of great change. In the Albuquerque Museum are thousands of 35mm color slides marked with the name McDonald and dated 1969 and 1970. These slides are stored in boxes in a freezer inside the photo archives to prevent deterioration. Here's the story behind those boxes of 35mm slides. The Albuquerque Museum opened in the old Albuquerque Sunport building in 1967 under the direction of Frank Crabtree. Crabtree had a photographer friend named Walter McDonald. They met each other while McDonald was a staff photographer for the Albuquerque Tribune. Before there was ever an Albuquerque Museum, the two friends had hatched a dream project to create a multimedia show that would highlight the city. When Crabtree became director of the brand new City Museum, their dream looked like it could become reality. By 1969, Walter McDonald had moved to Dallas, Texas. But hearing from Frank that their dream project was a go, he quit his job in Dallas to return to Albuquerque. He spent 8 months walking the city streets and driving the highways to get as full a view of the city as he could. In true street photography style, there was no agenda for the project, beyond simply shooting photos of what he saw. McDonald and Crabtree worked as a team to get high-angle shots using a ladder that they would carry up and down Central Avenue. They would explore neighborhoods, and they used whatever means available to process the photographs quickly, even using a friend's home darkroom. The end result was thousands of 35mm color slides capturing portraiture, neighborhoods, popular fashion, and a lively downtown that would shortly fall onto hard times. The project was not without its own hard times. Walter McDonald completed his portion of the project by the middle of 1970, but it would be 2 more years before the slides would finally be presented in the museum. Crabtree's budget skyrocketed. The large gallery space held for the project remained empty month after month. The trustees and docent volunteers began to call into question Crabtree's leadership of the new museum. Some called for his resignation. At a meeting in late March of 1972, Frank Crabtree had to answer to these complaints in person. One trustee warned that the only way to heal the rift that had come between Crabtree and the docents was to destroy the slides and remove the project from the museum. The dream that Frank and Walter had come up with years earlier was now on the brink of failure. By the end of the meeting, Frank Crabtree had successfully defended the project, but he was given an ultimatum. He had 4 weeks to open the show to the public, or the slides would be destroyed. Crabtree succeeded, and the slide project, officially named Have You Seen Albuquerque?, opened on May 15, 1972, in a custom-built theater in the Albuquerque Museum. 14 slide projectors flashed thousands of images on a screen, synchronized to music composed by a band called Sigbee and Larrabee from the town of Bernalillo. Despite the successful opening, the project had taken its toll. In July of 1972, Frank Crabtree resigned as director of the Albuquerque Museum. The slides were put into storage and not seen again until 1996, when then photo archivist Mo Palmer found boxes of 35mm slides on a shelf, and she cataloged them into the photo archives. The images that Walter McDonald captured and that Frank Crabtree fought to save have allowed us to present them to the public through an exhibition called Let the Sunshine In. Visitors to the exhibit have identified friends and family who were captured by Walter McDonald in his street photography. The story of the project has also helped current museum staff to better understand the history of the institution we work for and appreciate the work done by our predecessors to save these images for all of us. Thank you for joining us for Picture This with the Albuquerque Museum. Join us next time for the story behind another photograph in the museum's collection.